Hey, thanks so much for tuning in today. I am sitting here on Saturday in Kathmandu. It's my last day in Kathmandu at my favourite cafe. This is the cafe where I got my first coffee, and so I'm back. I thought it'd be really nice to sit back here a couple of weeks later. It's like, am I a different person? I definitely think I am. I really would love to bottle some of what I learned from this trip. And so, yeah, I thought I'd just do a quick podcast about that. I've written a couple of notes, but I'm just going to talk about this on the fly. The reason I love this cafe is because, I don't know if you can hear in the background noise, but it's at a major intersection. There's this beautiful old tree. I'm looking at lovely shade, just bird life. I've seen a monkey here before. Actually, I went to the monkey temple this morning for sunrise, which is a sensational way to begin the day. I'm just feeling hashtag blessed. I don't know how that comes across, but very, very lucky, very blessed, very grateful, very humbled. Unfortunately, all these words kind of been weaponized, but I do feel all those feelings. It feels really nice to have a lot of oxygen in my bloodstream and to eat a variety of food and to eat fresh food and to have a beautiful coffee in front of me. These are the things that I just will not take for granted. Even just having, I didn't sleep the best last night, but like maybe I had 5 hours sleep, but I'm just so grateful for 5 hours. What I was doing on that track, one of the days was just hideous. Had slept not at all, went to this really brutal acclimatization hike. So yeah, it's just really nice to sit here and reflect on the experience. So a couple of, lessons I want to share with you. The first lesson is loosen the straps. What I mean by this, we'll kick off with a bit of a story. So we had this duffel bag that we had to pack all our gear into. We left our suitcases back at the hotel and we took up to 15 kilograms with us. So when I packed it, everything fit in it, and then on the first night, when packing for the next, I just could not close this bag strap at all. Could not close the bag, it would not zip down. I'm like, what the hell? I've got the same amount of gear, maybe I just haven't been as thoughtful, deliberate with packing. This continued for 3 or 4 nights. It took me 20 minutes to close this bag, just basically sit on it. It felt like a strength workout, just trying to close this bloody bag. But what we then realised is that in the mornings, what the porters were doing was actually tightening all the straps on the bag so that they could wrap their ropes around it, so they could compact it down, so that they could then lift 30 kilograms of bags and walk to the next spot. These guys are phenomenal. They're just power. They're tiny, tiny guys. I dwarf over them. But what they were doing was pretty phenomenal. But we only realised 3 or 4 days in that you have to loosen the bag straps. And I think it's just a really great analogy for what I was feeling on the trip, and a lot of what I do. Kind of joke that I'm a Virgo, but I do like taking control of things as much as I can, and even to a point where I think I can control the outcome. But what I've learned here is that you can definitely do a lot to influence certain things, but at a certain point you just have to loosen the bag straps and let whatever it is, loosen your grip on what's actually happening and go with it. Especially in Nepal, timing's really different. The airports are total chaos, but I love it, completely organised chaos. My bags arrived, not with my plane, but they got to my hotel somehow. And I just had faith that that would happen. There's an element here of just trusting a process. Of course, do whatever you can, but at some point you just got to loosen the straps, let it go, and let everything unfold as well. I got my nails done yesterday, and in Brisbane it takes 15 minutes. It took over an hour in Nepal, and it's another example of loosening those straps. The second line, and this is probably my favourite line from poet David Whyte, he says, "That which you can plan is too small for you to live." And going into this trip, I had so many expectations. I was watching on YouTube what the places were like. Nothing can set you up for what you actually experience, and even me talking about it is 10% of what it is, because you're missing the nuance and the context of how you're feeling, how you're breathing, how you're sleeping, the dynamics around you, the colours, the sounds, the assault on your emotions, and just so many individual factors that just in this massive melting pot of just spaghetti that just you just can't. Sure, you can watch the footage, you can see images of what it's like, but nothing can capture the experience. And so voice, I'm trying to share through voice as well, but when you're not here, you don't understand what it's like when your body is swollen at altitude and you don't even recognize yourself in the mirror, and then you're having to do these really, really hard things. And so that line from David Whyte, "That which you can plan is too small for you to live," I think if you want an experience that you can't plan for, definitely I would 100% recommend coming to Nepal and just throwing all this stuff your way, the altitude, the freezing weather, all of it. It's pretty incredible. The third, lesson is don't escape the hard things. And I think we live in a society where we always want to get out of doing difficult things. I mean, with painkillers, you have a headache, you grab a painkiller. We live in convenience culture. I mean, I'm a big fan, I like Amazon Prime. When I want something, you basically get it. But some things, maybe over a week ago when I had that mini breakdown, I don't even know how long ago that was, but that was a real moment where it's like I haven't felt that level of difficulty in years. Even writing a book is hard, but for me, it's it's something that you can project plan against, you can have a routine against. But something like this with your body reacting to altitude, just being around a group 24/7, there's so much difficulty within this, and I think it was just really nice to be in a situation where the only way was through and the only way was really up to you, and it was really a decision on that. And so I'm like, how often now should I start doing hard things, and like what does hard look like now? And I think it has to be definitely doing the things that are kind of off-brand for me, because when you do things that are in your lane, you can get more challenging, more difficult, but it really isn't the same as like actually doing something that's capital H hard. The fourth thing I just wanted to share, fourth and final thing, reflection, and like no doubt when I stop recording this, I'm going to have quite a few more things to say and reflect on, but we'll keep it tight, is to always expect 5 extra steps. We've had this thing around like Easter eggs. So what an Easter egg is in a movie is like this stuff that goes, it's like a side quest thing that's kind of subtle and hidden, and I mean, I think you've heard that metaphor of an Easter egg. But in Nepal on this trip, there was like, you have instructions for a certain thing, but you got to understand that within that, there's like 5 extra steps. Just assume there's 5 extra steps. Don't assume things are going to be as straightforward as it seems. An example is when we landed in Kathmandu International Airport. This is the only international airport I've been where you actually have to scan your everything, like your suitcase. You put your suitcase, like your carry-on bag, and you got to rescan it just to enter the country. Like that never ever happens. I mean, even in Australia with like our quarantine standards, like it's still like jackpot whether you're going to get scanned or not. Not everyone does that, but we had to rescan to get into the country, which was fascinating. But even when we got the helicopter out of Parachute, it was like the instruction was, okay, just take your bags, we're going to walk to the helipad. Like, sure. So we walk 100 meters, we're waiting there, and then we have to throw our bags over this like rock wall. We have to scale down a rock wall, pick up our bags against a 15-kilogram duffel, and walk across an icy river and rocks just to get to the helipad. And it was kind of treacherous, like maybe I'm overstating it, but I felt it was kind of treacherous. Like I just thought, I'm just going to like walk over to a helipad and get onto this helicopter. But the actual steps involved in doing that, it's like, okay, right, now I've got to focus. Okay, this is going to take more effort. It's actually nice like, having that assumption that things aren't as straightforward as they seem, and just to expect curveball after curveball after curveball, I think really helps you build your resilience, but also just makes you more, I guess, flexible and in the moment as well. So I think there's a few kind of like underpinning patterns in what I'm sharing with you in terms of like, expect unexpected. I know it's kind of cliche. Be open, like, and just, I guess, the reinforcement that while we think we have a sense of control over what happens in our life, we actually have none. It's been really refreshing to kind of reinforce on this trip as well. So thanks for listening to the episode today. I'm going to continue drinking my coffee and watching the streets wake up, though they seem quite bustling right now. And enjoy my final day in Kathmandu. Speak to you tomorrow.